A lot of people ask me about what to do if the issue on their team is the team leader. For instance, if the team leader is not vulnerable or if the team leader isn't good at something in particular, how do you overcome that? And I like to say this. First of all, don't assume that the leader likes being the way they are. Everyone assumes, well, the leader must be leading the way they want to because they're the leader, they get to choose. And most leaders I work with, in any kind of an organizational setting, at any kind of a team level, many of them are struggling and they need help. So let's first assume that they would like to be better. And then secondly, what we have to do is we have to take a risk. You know, in my career, for whatever reason, I didn't mind taking those risks. I was the guy that as I moved up the corporate ladder, I think one of the reasons why I did is because people would shove me into the CEO's office at my company and say, you tell him. And even when I was like 3 levels below, people that worked directly for the CEO would go, well, you tell him. And I could never figure out why, but I had this way of telling, I think, what I call the kind truth. I wasn't an activist. I wasn't in there going, you're a real jerk, buddy, and but I also wasn't telling him what he wanted to hear all the time. I would say, I know you have a tough job, but I think this is something that would help the company or the organization or the team. And oftentimes I was rewarded for that. Now, is it a risk? Yes. 8 or 9 times out of 10, it's not going to cost you your job. I mean, most times what's going to happen is you're either going to get rewarded for it, and many times the leader is going to say, nobody ever tells me that I need to do this. But you've done it in a kind way, privately, so I can hear it, and I know that you have my best interest at heart, so I'm going to improve. Sometimes they're going to hear it, appreciate it, and not be able to do anything about it. That might even be the majority. Sometimes they're going to say, I don't want to hear it, and I'm not going to change. But you know something? It's good to know that. And the only thing worse than not knowing that is continuing to work in a miserable situation where nobody confronts the leader. And the truth of the matter is almost never do people get fired for telling the leader something difficult if they do it with kindness. And so what I say to people is, if indeed that's the way they want to be, and they're not going to change, and you know it, now is a good time to start polishing up that resume. But let's make sure that we know that. And because the best thing you might do in your career is be the person that helps that leader make a change.